Do you like big, sweaty, hairy men? Well, you're in the right place, my friend. What an intro. Vinland Saga is absolutely incredible for a lot of reasons you may not actually consider at first. But if you haven't watched it, I am more than happy to ease you in, and do not worry, there will not be any spoilers in this video. Anyway, quick history recap. Back in 700 AD, the campaign of the Vikings is known to be as epic as it is vague. We know surprisingly little about them. I mean, was Ragnar Lothbrok even a real guy? Was he multiple people? Did he exist at all? And / or thrown into a pit of snakes because King Ella of Northumbria was just on demon time? Did they really conquer massive portions of Europe, North America? Did they really pillage monasteries? Did they really prove to be so dominant and unreasonable that the Dane law had to be established? Well, I mean, yeah, that bit is pretty true. Their ships were also insanely ahead of their time, so ridiculously advanced and able to penetrate into enemy terrain. Penetrate. So really, Makoto Yukimura had a lot to work with here. And what I'm saying here is we have the foundation. We have a multitude of amazing storylines which has cropped up over time. I mean, we have the Northmen, we've got Vikings, How to Train Your Dragon, which is soon to get a live-action remake, and I just don't know how to feel about that. But as you can see, there is a lot possible, and Vinland is an aspect of the Viking conquest, which I'd argue sometimes goes a little bit overlooked. The premise is simple. Kid wants to avenge his father.
I will avenge you, father! I will save you, mother! I will kill you, father!
The kid's name is Thorfinn. I'll get back to him. And it is based in the midst of King Canute's rise to power, another famous Viking leader from the late 900 AD to around 1000. Again, the dates are quite vague. He's basically a guy that ruled like Denmark, Norway, England, and like basically turned the North Sea into his playground, so my guy had a complex. He's illustrated as a very handsome and cunning man, which probably does him more justice than, you know, this. If you are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the video. The anime is just gorgeously animated, and it's pretty much the standard now for these large-scale series anyway. And it's just a testament on the talented animators at Wit and Mappa. Obviously, stylistically, the show slightly changes because it swaps from Wit to Mappa. I don't know what it is with shows just going back and forth between these two, but I'm not too mad about it because they both have their merits. Does it affect the story? No, not really. I mean, both are pretty solid adaptations of the original source material, and just stop the press right here because the manga, oh my god, the manga. Now, it's not actually that far in, but I'm still not fully caught up with the manga, but from what I've seen so far, it's absolutely amazing. Like, I am not surprised at all at how it got turned into an animation. It's just incredible. Like, the writing is excellent. I mean, look at this illustration. It's very pretty. It's surprising because it had a really low readership at the start, especially in the West. It just didn't take off as quickly as some other shonen/seinen manga do. But hey, I guess people just really started to like Vikings. And that is my manga assessment for today. One of the main things I ask for from these types of series is a good antagonist. You know, someone you want your protagonist to overcome, to defeat, or to forgive, you never know. And the antagonist of this story is fantastic. Again, I can't say anything too much about it. I mean, it's been out for a while, but I'm sticking to my guns with this video and keeping it a secret. But oh my god, the antagonist is fantastic, truly written so well. Like, their relationship with certain characters just makes it that much better. So yeah, I truly do love the villain of this story. And this is a really nice thing about Vinland Saga because it has taken elements not just from shonen, but seinen, and I have mentioned this prior on my channel at the fact that mature themes are becoming more popular as we go along. I mean, look at Chainsaw Man, for example. Things are blowing up, though I haven't actually specified what these terms really mean, though most people know. Essentially, seinen just tends to incorporate more mature aspects because it's aimed at more mature audiences. And this just opens up a huge range of themes as opposed to the limitations of old school shonen manga, which are of course aimed at younger audiences. I think this is just because the majority of people who have grown up with shonen anime are still wanting something with similar elements of camaraderie or perseverance, but they also just want something a bit more deep and mature themes. It's not to say shonen can't be deep, but with Vinland, you're dealing with elements of slavery, of conflict, of politics, and most importantly, the morality and ethics of killing during this time period, because within the context, it completely and utterly makes sense. How the story justifies death as a means to an end is just brilliantly handled. A few people have complained that the second season is a bit slower. I think it's absolutely justified for the sake of character development. Not everything needs to move as fast as lightning. Little Thor pun there. And realistically, things need to slow down a little bit, but even then, it's not that slow. It's really not that bad. Especially since there is no filler, which again, a lot of older shows used to do, and this is just good writing all the way through, consistent. The characters. Thorfinn is just one of my favourite anime protagonists as of recent because I find him incredibly fascinating. It's really interesting to see his mentality shift to understand his place in war, which provides a lot of philosophical undertones, and if you're a fan of this channel, you know we love those. An impression of who he is. I mean, Anne is great. I think all the side characters, they need a bit more time to develop, but that's what happens with these long-running series, and they are still really engaging. It's just an all-rounder, and in conflict, where you typically get joy and celebration after the battle is won, depicted in a lot of series and films and whatever stories. In this, it's just absolutely miserable. These people are just so depressed, which is so real because the conquest is a tragedy. Like, they're not enjoying what they're doing, but it's a great depiction of Viking morals, of their duty at the time, because they have to live up to the expectations of their gods. Obviously, in combat sequences, the Vikings are depicted as insanely powerful, probably because they actually were, but if you do like grounded historical realism, this show might be a little bit too over the top for you, and to me, I think it's perfect, because animation, to me, is embellishment. It's to exaggerate and make things pop, because you have the means to do so. Like, if an animator has the means to make something more powerful, they will almost absolutely do it. Like, is Vinland Saga historically realistic? Not really. Does that make the show bad? Absolutely not. The Age of the Vikings gets a free pass anyway because of our lack of knowledge, but even then, we get so many shows and stories depicting things in exaggerated ways, and the majority just doesn't care. Because it's fun. I'm not being funny, but if people do complain about historical realism in an anime, because believe it or not, there are people that choose to do that, you're better off just watching a documentary. And tying into this, my favourite aspect of Vinland Saga, which I believe to be the biggest selling point of the series anyway, is the fact that the writer takes elements from a certain period in time and flips them, and puts them into the realm of animation. Do you know how many possibilities that gives you? Because animation should be a tool for unique storytelling, for stylized storytelling. Yeah, we've seen animation in general used for these types of historical depictions, but anime as an art form is still kind of catching up. But for Vinland Saga to become so insanely popular in the East and the West is just really healthy for the anime scene. But incorporating this specific artistry from these incredible animators and having it be popular is huge, not only for the anime, but the biographical scene. But it does make me wonder, what are the next big things that could be thought up from this? What things could be taken from historical time periods and turned into this stylization? You know, whether it has to be historically accurate or not, it doesn't bother me, because there are some historically accurate anime films and TV shows still, they exist, and they're fantastic in their own right. So I think, you know, what can become of this? Like, Vinland Saga is just dominating this area right now, and it's so good. So that's why you should watch it. As great as the story is, it's also significant for the advancement of the art form, and I've got a good feeling that just becomes timeless and improves with age, so why not just start watching it now, or reading it, unless you already have, in which case, decent. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I shall see you all again. Take care.